Welcome to the Cultivating You podcast with Anthony Duane.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cultivating You podcast, the show dedicated to personal development, becoming mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally fit so that we can actualize our true potential. I am your host, Anthony Duane. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the page. It helps me out. It costs nothing. And I have a great message that I want to share with people. So if the show has impacted you positively, if you think it will impact somebody that you may know, please share the show. It means a lot to me. All right. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you have any inquiries, you want to hear something specific on the show, you can always email me at cultivatingyouPodcast@gmail.com. All right. Thank you so much. So today, we are going to be discussing discipline. Now, a lot of us know deep down that discipline could actually improve our lives a great deal, right? Is there anything in your life that you know would be improved by discipline? Is it maybe your finances? Is it maybe your health? Do you have goals? Do you have ambitions? We all know that deep down the answer is yes, okay? And so why don't we do it? Why is it so hard to keep ourselves disciplined? That is a really tough question. It's a tough question that I've been asking myself over the period of the last 4 months. But after this last 4 months of cultivating a bit of discipline myself, I think I've found a little bit of an answer. It works for me and it may work for you as well. But I don't believe that I loved or cared for myself as much as I thought I did. Discipline is really just an act of self-love. It really, really is, because you're actually putting yourself first, right? You're not putting your hopes and your dreams off to the side. You know what I'm saying? You're treating yourself like you're somebody that you love, and you're focusing on yourself. And sometimes that may come off as selfish to other people, but who really cares? You know what I'm saying? We need to focus on ourselves. We need to show ourselves that love, because we're the only one that we have in this world, and we're the only people that we can truly depend on. So we need to focus on ourselves, right? But listen, we all know that discipline will help us out, even if it's in the most minuscule ways. We all know that if we just got up 30 minutes earlier, we would stop being late to work all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just little things like that. And what would that do for you? Maybe you're going from somebody who's late constantly to now you're the early bird, and somebody in the organization recognizes that. And not only are you coming in on time, you're coming in early, but you're being more productive, right? And now, a couple months down the line, now you're in line for maybe a promotion or a raise or something, We all know that maybe implementing a little bit of exercise and some more whole foods, some healthy foods into our diet, we know that it's going to help us shed and keep off this excess weight that we've put on, or, the things that are going to make us sick, excuse me. And, maybe you have much larger goals than that. Maybe you have bigger goals. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to write a book someday, right? Deep down that in order to write a book, you need to dedicate yourself, discipline yourself to sit down for at least 30 minutes to an hour every day and start writing and start honing your craft, right? To start that business. Maybe you don't know where to start, or maybe you need to develop a product. You got to sit down, you got to do research. You got to figure out how to develop this product. What's the cost? Maybe I need to build a website. How do I do that? Maybe I need to learn how to market or increase my sales skills. So these are all disciplines that we need to cultivate in order to achieve our goals. And the thing is, it's so hard to get started. But like I said, after about the last 4 months, I think I've really achieved that. I'm definitely on a new level, right? And so I want to go over some things today that are going to help us progress towards achieving our goals and towards cultivating that discipline on a higher level. So, rather than continuing to, put my goals and my dreams to the side and feeding off my impulses and merely just searching for pleasure constantly. You know what I'm saying? I've realized by doing that for so long, I've woken up at 36, maybe 35, was when I really truly had this realization. But I've had so many dreams and so many things that I wanted to do as a young kid that I woke up and at an older age and I'm like, wow, time has really flown by and I really have not accomplished a lot of those goals. You know what I'm saying? There are a few that have happened, but on the grand scheme of things, like I could have been so much further ahead had I put my head down and really disciplined myself early on, right? So, I feel like I finally hit this point of being rock bottom. And I don't mean rock bottom in the sense that I lost everything or that I was just, out on the streets and lost my family and things like that. I heard a good quote by, I think it's Shia LaBeouf in a podcast that he did, but he said, rock bottom is not that lowest point in your life. Rock bottom is the moment that you decide to change, right? It's the moment you decide to change. And I thought that was a great way to put it. So for me, I'm just tired of the vicious cycle that I've seemed to have been in for the last 10 years or so, right? I often refer to myself as this hedonic monk. So I would always be in either a period of hedonism or I would be in this period of what I would call full monk mode. And it's just this constant up and down of being disciplined and being completely undisciplined. And they kind of play off of each other, and it's just been this cycle. And I obviously don't want to be on the side of hedonism because that takes me down a long dark path that I'd never really like being on. And if I'm going to stop the cycle, for me, I feel like I just need to be on the side of the monk. But I'd love to achieve some balance, but for right now, I just really need to go extreme monk mode. But what has happened essentially is that prior to this period of the last 4 months, I've been someone who I get into this kind of dark place, right? I'll get into this depressive state where, my self-esteem is like really low, or, I'm very self-conscious. I don't have a lot of confidence, and I get to a dark place and I don't know what gets me there. But typically I think it's like alcohol use and drug abuse and things like that kind of get me there, because I'll get to these points where I feel pretty low and I want to numb. So I numb with an alcohol, or I numb with drugs and alcohol, or food even, or plenty of things that waste my time. And I'm not motivated in any sense. You know what I'm saying? So this period will drag out. And at first, when I start, drinking alcohol a lot or doing these things, they make me feel good temporarily. But after 2, 3, 4, 5 months, I really feel like shit. Like I feel horrible. I don't want to do anything. Everything's pretty gray. Things seem bleak. And it's like, man, I got to snap out of this, right? I have to snap out of this. And over the last 10 years or so, I've built up this like tool belt of things that have allowed me to kind of break out of that cycle, that kind of put me back on my game and get me going again. And I've already talked about quite a few of those things here on the podcast. If you go back, I talk about meditation. That's been a great tool for me. There's been stuff I haven't talked about, like cold plunging, cold exposure. That stuff's been really great. So like I've built up all these tools, exercise, healthy eating, and these things are what snapped me out of that low, dark period, right? And then I know I need to get out of it, so I start doing those things, and I get disciplined. I do. I get really disciplined for a long time. And, I'll go cold turkey on a lot of the things that I'm doing, and let me tell you, I'm coming from a place that is, I think if people ingested the amount of things that I ingested, it would kill a horse, I feel like sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like super proud of where I'm at now, because I was coming from a place of drinking, possibly 4 to 5 times a week, and not just drinking a few here and there, like drinking heavily. You know, I was coming from a place of taking kratom 3 or 4 times a week, like heavy doses of kratom. When it first started off, it was like 3, 4 grams here and there, and it was pretty manageable. And it's a great plant, and I think it has its benefits, and its uses, but it's very addictive, and it's not something that you want to play around with. You know what I'm saying? But I went from like a moderate use to 4 or 5 times a week, taking 10 to 15 grams of kratom. You know what I'm saying? And this was all in helping me function a little bit, getting rid of my inhibitions and stuff like that. Also smoking marijuana, that was a big thing, which, that one has been a little bit easier for me to cut down. But that one, I mean, just you get the trifecta of all these substances. You get the entourage effect of all these substances, and you're just in this state of bliss and euphoria all the time. And, I love psychedelics as well, but I was abusing them. I was abusing psychedelics. I was taking them too often. I was not taking them how I would like to take them, in a ceremonial space. You know what I'm saying? And then that would lead to other things, drinking, staying up all night, watching the sunrise far too many times than I'd like to count. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because I woke up early. It's because I didn't go to bed, and we all know, we've all been there, right? So it's, I was coming from that kind of place, where I was just kind of crutched on these substances, and, and so I would get clean off of those, right? And then I would start eating good, and I would start exercising. I would start running, start feeling better, and feeling really, really, really good, like amazing. And it's like, oh, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Like, this is amazing. And then you ever get really sober and really disciplined, and you're just clean of all things, and then all of a sudden you feel so great, you just want to get fucked up? Like, welcome to my world. That's the cycle that I've been in for so long. And so, yeah, I would feel great. And then I'd be like, all right, well, let's have a drink. We feel great. And then, next thing you know, I'm having some day drinking beers, and, eating some ramen on 4th Avenue or wherever, and just going out to party that night. And then the cycle starts over again. And then it's like slowly creeps in. You know what I'm saying? Like the food, the bad food, the alcohol, the drugs, and those things, they slowly start to build up, and then I build myself back into that dark cycle again. And then this would just go on for years and years and years. And I always just wanted to get disciplined. That's really all I wanted to do. I wanted to snap myself out of it. And it wasn't until recently that I actually, I mean, I'm only 4 months in, but this is literally the longest period of time that I've ever been disciplined. And I may have been disciplined longer in like lifting weights or working out or something, like gone like a 6-month period of doing those things. But it was also in combination with, not eating the best, and not, and drinking and doing all these other things. But this is the only time in my entire life that I've literally cut out all vices. I went cold turkey on alcohol. I went cold turkey on marijuana, kratom, mushrooms. I haven't done anything. I haven't even smoked a cigarette. My only vice right now is probably caffeine and coffee and stuff like that. And literally working out twice a day, every day. And I'm on day 110 of just actually doing this consistently over time, and I feel absolutely amazing. And it's really been life-changing. It literally has changed my life. Everything has taken a 180, like seriously. I feel like I've actually taken control of my life. I'm in control of my mental faculties. I'm in control of my moods, my state of being, my actions. They're all dialed in, like, at this point, and I've never felt better. And when you reach this state and you reach this point of discipline, it's almost like to give up on it, to, like, for me right now, to go have a drink or to even eat like a slice of pizza, it feels like it would set me back so far right now. And it's just like when you get so far along, you look back at where you came from, and it's just like it's too far to even turn around. Like, you want to keep going, and I want to keep riding this train as long as I can, to be honest with you. And I think I think everybody would love this state and love the way they feel if they got into this more disciplined mode. Now, how did I do it? Well, a good friend of mine, one day, we were chatting up and we decided you know what? We're going to start meeting up. We're going to start hanging out. We're going to start motivating each other, and we're going to start holding each other accountable to, progress in our lives and just be like accountability buddies. You know what I'm saying? And really, instead of like being friends who always go out and drink and go out and party, we're going to meet up and we're going to talk business. We're going to talk finances. We're going to talk health. We're going to talk longevity, life, like the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're going to really switch it up. And my friend Hugo Frausto, a lot of you may know him. If you don't, he's an excellent guy. And we started talking, and one day we were talking through Messenger, and he sends me a link to a podcast called Real AF with Andy Frisella. And so I click the link, and actually, no, I don't think I even clicked the link that first day. It took me like 3 days to even check out the link. But once I did, I was working out. I had actually already started working out. I'd already kind of, I was like a week or two into like this disciplined state that I was in, and I was feeling good. And I clicked the link, started listening to the podcast, and it's, the podcast starts talking about a 75-day challenge called 75 Hard. And I've been talking about this for quite a while now. And essentially what that is it's a challenge, and every single day you do 2 workouts. All right. You do one of them outside. One of them has to be outside and the other one could be inside. They both have to be at least 45 minutes long. Okay. You have to take a progress picture every day. You have to read 10 pages from a book. And this book cannot just be like a fiction book. It has to be a personal development book. So either in something that you're learning, your craft, your business, or just something that helps you get better as a human being. What are the other ones? You got to follow a diet. It doesn't matter what diet you choose. It has to help you achieve your goals. Like if you want a weight loss goal, or if you want to put on muscle, or if you're training for a marathon, it just has to pertain to whatever goal that you're trying to achieve. But you have to pick a diet and stick to it strictly. No deviation. Along with that, you cannot drink alcohol. All right. You also have to drink 1 gallon of water a day. So this is every day for 75 days. And that's what I've done essentially is I've been doing that, but now I've been doing it for 110 days because I actually failed the first time on day 55, I believe it was. And then I failed again after immediately starting up on day 35. And I think I'm on day like 30 right now. So we're somewhere in that range. Okay. But I've done it. I feel amazing. My physique it looks really great. I feel healthy. Like the physique thing was not necessarily the whole mission, but your health and the way you look, the way your body looks is just a byproduct of doing the work every day. But yeah, like as soon as I listened to it, I text my buddy back and I was like, yo, fuck it, I'm starting tomorrow. I was like, have you done it? And he's like, I started 3 days ago. And I was like, hell yeah. And we just jumped right into it. Now it's been just an amazing process, right? It's shown me a lot of things, and it's made me realize something pretty crazy. So it's only been 4 months, right? It's only been 4 months. And it's such a little blip in time. I mean, I know it feels like a long time, but it's such a little blip in time. It goes by like that. And a lot of people, I think, are afraid of not getting the results or not getting them in time. But all I can try to express to you is that, even taking 4 to 6 months out of your life right now to really buckle down and commit to yourself and to go for a goal and try and cultivate some discipline, 6 months will go by like that. And in that short period of time, your whole mindset, your whole world can actually change by trying out something like this. So, and it gets hard. Don't get me wrong. It gets really hard. There's the motivation to start is always great. It's always great. You get the idea, you want to get there, you want to go and do it. And once you're in it, 2, 3, 4 weeks, you're in it. And then all of a sudden that feeling goes away, that honeymoon feeling, that phase, it goes away. And that's when it gets hard and you don't want to keep going. And sometimes you don't see results after 4, 5, 6 weeks. Like that's when they're barely starting to happen. But for some people, it takes even longer and we don't get this instant gratification. And so we quit and we jump onto something else and we're constantly searching for this feeling of feeling good. So the thing is really digging in like a tick and sticking with it. And the longer that you do it, the better it gets, the more, the freer you become. And that's another thing, like you're not controlled by society and culture and its expectations of you when you're doing a self-discipline like this. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this. You are eating the things that you should be eating that are good for your health, right? I picked like a whole food animal-based diet, and I don't eat processed meats. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat added sugar, but I'm only eating whole foods. And, when I'm sitting in a meeting or a work thing and everybody brought pizza for it and everyone's like, you're not eating pizza? And I'm like, no, I'm not eating that right now. Or, you know what I'm saying? And it feels kind of good. You feel a little bit ostracized or like, oh, who's this guy? Who's the health nut? You know what I'm saying? But it feels good. Like to me, for some reason, it feels good being a contrarian. I don't like to be often part of like the thing that everybody else is into, right? I like to be on the outskirts of the group a little bit, but you know what? I can be a part of the group as well, relational wise, you know what I'm saying? But like these different actions, I want to stand from the crowd. I don't want to be part of the herd, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? So it really gives you this empowerment feeling. It makes you feel like an individual, and it really helps you focus on yourself and loving yourself and taking care of yourself and becoming the person that you always needed yourself to be, right? To accomplish those things and accomplish those goals. And really the challenge of it is great because, it's voluntary stress. You're putting voluntary stress on your body. You're putting yourself through stuff that you don't want to do, but you're doing it anyway, and you're doing it consistently, constantly. And when you put yourself through voluntary stress, it actually decreases the stresses in your life. Actually, like all the stress that normally bothered me is gone. It's not even there. All the like depressive kind of feelings, they're gone. They're not there anymore. And it's because I'm constantly putting myself through vigorous workouts. I'm exposing myself to the cold in the mornings, especially now during the winter. It's like I have to get up at 5 and get my workout in before work, or if not, I'm going to come home late in the evening and I'm going to have to bust out 2 workouts at nighttime. And the part of the rules are you have to wait 3 hours between workouts. You can't just do them back to back. So I can come home 5, 6 o'clock at night, do a workout, and then I have to wait till 11 or 12 to do my second workout. And then I'm just making myself tired for the next day. So I have to ensure that I'm getting up and giving myself the time to do that. I'm also voluntary, like it actually made me add more things onto it. So like I'm making myself take cold showers daily. You know what I'm saying? I'm making myself journal daily and do gratitude practices. I'm meditating more often just because I'm finding I have more time to do it because I'm getting up earlier. So all of these things are just it's like compound interest. They're just working off each other, and it's had a great impact on me. But like literally, I'm happier. It's forced me to recognize that I was just constantly in my head and constantly struggling, and it was because of like the substances and the food and all these things. They just affect you in a very negative way. But when you can take control of that, and become disciplined, the discipline brings this freedom that is beautiful to witness and beautiful to experience. And I really can't speak highly enough of this program. It's really changed my life. If you do decide to do the 75 Hard program, I do recommend getting the app. I think it's $5, but it's well worth it. I don't think you need to read the book or do anything like that. There's Facebook groups that you can get into, and there's a lot of question and info and stuff there. And the no alcohol thing, I think, was the biggest thing for me. It was probably the hardest thing for me to overcome. But I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do this, because I've only gone about 30 days without alcohol, like in my entire adult life, and now I'm at 110, and it's like, okay, I now know that I don't need the alcohol. Like my social interactions, like, I think people get afraid. This is how I felt about it. I used to get afraid that if I don't have alcohol, how am I going to be funny, or how am I going to be outgoing, or how am I going to have a good time at this place? And quite frankly, it's just not true. It's just lies that we tell ourselves, that we try to bargain with ourselves to get ourselves out of these things. You know what I'm saying? But really, like, it was tough in the beginning. And then gradually I just kind of kept exposing myself to situations and where I would normally drink, but I made sure I didn't. I would get some really strong coffee and maybe up the energy a little bit, but I'm actually having really great times. Like, I'm kicking into this flow state, talking with people and being around people that is actually very similar to being inebriated. And I still feel the same vigor and the same energy in those types of situations. So it's quite, it's a pretty unique experience that I'm not really used to, but I'm glad I'm going through it. And I think overall, it really just teaches me that I don't need the alcohol. It's not necessary for me, And it's not to say that I think I'm going to become completely sober. If that happens, if I just continue this on, maybe that will happen, Okay, great. If not, I'd still like to maybe just have more balance with that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Maybe have a day out of the week where I'm just doing and eating whatever the fuck I want, because this life is also, we need some pleasure, we need some happiness, and that's not to say my discipline doesn't bring me happiness, that it makes me feel miserable. And it's actually quite the contrary. The discipline is actually what makes me very happy throughout the day. When I wake up feeling shitty, when I go in that weight room and I start lifting the weights and I start drinking the water and I start doing the journaling, and it just brings me to such a high vibration that it just sets me up for my whole day, and it just makes it better. I can't compare anything to it. So it's like, we don't really need all that stuff, but I hope people try it. I really do, because it's really great. Once you reach a certain level, once you reach this 4 month period, like I said earlier, like anything less than completing that discipline is just unacceptable to you. And you want to ride that momentum. You're going to ride it as far and as long as you can. So, yeah, if you have any questions about the 75 Hard program, if you're kind of maybe nervous to do it, if you need any advice or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me. But discipline is, man, it's just been a life changer, a game changer, and I can't wait for people's feedback about it. I hope you try it. I hope you commit to yourself. I hope, you know what I'm saying? Commit to yourself, really commit to yourself, and say, I'm not going to give in. That's the hard part. I'm not going to go to the party, or I'm not going to, because those things, to me, those things are almost about pleasing other people. You know what I'm saying? Like showing up to somebody else's event, showing up to somebody else's party, or going out and having drinks, and like, it's great. I want you to be there for people, and I want you to go have fun. But if it doesn't serve you, and if it's not part of your mission, and if it's not going to help you elevate on a certain level, then don't do it. Commit to yourself. Commit to the diet. Commit to the no alcohol, the no drugs, the workout, everything. Just commit to those fully, and I guarantee you're going to see a change. You're going to catch some momentum that's going to change your life, and you're going to be on a track that is so high, so elevated, that you're not going to want to get off it. You're going to ride it until the wheels fall off. So please, just incorporate some discipline into your life. I know you can do it. I know it's going to make your life better. And I think that's all for now. But, have a great day. Thank you for listening. Again, like, share, and subscribe. Comment and share with your folks and let them know about the message, okay? All right. Much love. Peace.